This week on Balloon and Fell, I'll be making Thor from Ragnarok. Will you look at this guy? It has a lot of detail. Oh man, I'm worried this might be a fail. There's only one way to find out. Let's get started. For this video, I'm going to try something a little bit different. While you guys watch me make Thor, I'm actually going to tell you a story about the first time I started making balloon animals. I was 7 years old, and at the local laundromat there was a vending machine. It looked like a clown, and its hat was the pump. And for 50 cents, you got 1/260 and photocopied instructions on how to make a dog. On the outside of the machine, there were all these different photos. There was a giraffe and a lion and a tiger, a teddy bear, swords and flowers, but they only ever gave you instructions on how to make a dog. I spent all my allowance and emptied the machine out, and I got only instructions on how to make a dog. So I would sit there and figure out how to make the other balloon animals based on the photos that were on the machine. So I would take the dog apart and turn it into a giraffe, and then take it apart and turn it into a rhinoceros, and take it apart and turn it into a sword, and keep doing that over and over again until it popped. And then I would ask my mom for 50 more cents. And so every time we'd go do laundry, this was the routine. I would figure out how to make balloon animals and entertain myself while we were waiting for clothes to be cleaned. And this is how I started making balloon animals as a hobby. I didn't start doing it professionally for money until I was in high school. My last year in high school, I was looking for a part-time job. And between applying to Subway and McDonald's and Taco Bell and all those awful places kids get their first jobs at, I was eating at a restaurant and I saw some guy making balloon animals. And it dawned on me, I know how to make balloon animals. And so I asked him, how did you start working making balloon animals at the restaurant? And he gave me his card, and when I called him later, he said that if I wanted to make balloon animals also at a restaurant, he could set me up. It didn't pay anything, I would just work off tips, but I would be able to make more than I would be making working at a McDonald's or a Taco Bell. And this sounded like a great idea. I'm like, hey, I get to do something that I already know how to do, something that I think I'm sort of good at, and I'll get some money for it. So I said, yeah, I'll do this. Before he put me in a restaurant though, he wanted to make sure I could make balloon animals. So I met him on like a Thursday night at a Carl's Jr. and he sold me my first bag of balloons and my first pump and my first twisting apron for like $20. And he says, okay, I'm gonna teach you how to make a dog. And I took a balloon and a pump and I'm like, I know how to make a dog, and I made one. He's like, all right, well then let me show you how to make a flower. And I was like, oh, I know that one too. And I showed him my flower. He said, what about a sword? Showed him my sword. And he goes, okay, I think you know enough to go into a restaurant. I go, well, what other balloon animals do I know how to make? Because everything I've learned off of a vending machine in a laundromat. So he showed me like a dozen more balloon animals, and I went home and I practiced. I practiced over and over again to the point where the squeaking drove my sisters insane, which was an added bonus for me. And after a week or two of practicing, the big night rolled around. Friday night, I get a shift at my local restaurant from 5:30 until 9 p.m., where I'm going to be making balloon animals for tips. When I get there, I immediately start going up to tables. I had been practicing all the different things I wanted to say. I was going to introduce myself and tell them how I'm saving up money to go to college and saving up money for a car, and how I've been making balloon animals since I was 7. But my nerves got the better of me. The only thing I said was, would you like a balloon? Most people said no, but a few people did say yes. I made dogs, and I made swords, and I made flowers. And some people would ask me for things I didn't know how to make. Some people would ask me, can you make me a T-Rex? Or can you make me a motorcycle? And I didn't like saying, no, I don't know how to make that. So I told them, I've never made that before, and I'm willing to try. And if it looks awful, don't worry, I can still make you a dog or a flower or a sword. And most of them didn't look very good at all. But a couple of them looked a little bit like what they were supposed to. And when it was slow, I would practice making those things over and over again, trying to get better at a motorcycle or better at a T-Rex. So that next time somebody asked me for one, I knew that I could make it. I ended up working until 9:30 that night. I didn't count any of the tips until I got home. And once I did, and I pulled all the 1s and 5s out of my pockets and I tallied them all up, I was surprised. For my 4 hours of work, I had made $80. That was like $20 an hour. If I was working at the McDonald's or the Taco Bell, I would have had to put in 10 hours to earn that same amount. From that moment, I was hooked.
Every Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, I was making balloon animals at restaurants now. And I made enough money not only to go to college, but to also buy my first car.
Okay, I'm calling it. Challenge completed. One Thor from Ragnarok made out of balloons. This one was a really big challenge. I'm pretty happy with it though. I think it did a really good job. But it doesn't matter what I think. What do you think? If you think Thor here's a win, click that thumbs up button. If you think it's a fail, click the thumbs down button. I'm looking for my next challenge. You can challenge me in the comments below or through my Facebook or Twitter page. And if you don't want to miss my next balloon win fail, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn the notifications on. That way, you'll get an alert next time I upload a video. I'm Michael Floyd, your balloon twister. Remember, you can make anything out of balloons, even Thor.